If you've been thinking about starting a print-on-demand business, or you've just gotten started, you're still in that early stage and you're not really getting a ton of traction, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a complete roadmap of all of the decisions think about and choose when you are first starting a print-on-demand business. Now, with so many videos and tutorials out there and just a lot of information, sometimes it can be really hard to get a good idea of what are just the basic things that you really do need to think about to get started in this business. Now, I've been at this for a number of years as a successful print-on-demand seller, so I've really been able to figure out what is the bare bones system that you are going to be able to actually grow a very successful and profitable business without a ton of extra stuff. So let's just jump right on into it. Now, the very first decision you are definitely going to need to make when you are wanting to become a print-on-demand seller or even grow your business beyond what you're doing right now is figure out what platforms you want to sell on. Now, right away, this seems like a very straightforward question, but there definitely is a lot that goes into a decision like this. Now, the way I see it, there's kind of two different types of print-on-demand platforms that you can sell on. The first one is going to be a little bit more passive, while the other one definitely involves a bit more work, but they both have their pros and cons. So on the side of things where it's a little bit more passive are the sites like Merch by Amazon or Amazon Merch. You have Zazzle, TeePublic, and Redbubble. So on all of those sites, you are basically just creating the design, uploading the product, and writing things like the title and description. And then the platform that you are selling on is going to do everything else. Everything from making the item, shipping it, packing it, storing it, and then dealing with all of the customer service if someone doesn't like the item and chooses to return it. So that's really nice because you aren't fronting any money to actually purchase the products that you are selling. And if a customer doesn't like them, you are not doing any of that customer service. And so the actual platform or website you're selling on, like Amazon, is going to eat the cost for you. Now, some of the drawbacks are for a place like Merch by Amazon, because it is so desirable to sell with them, they have a very extensive application process and a lot of people sadly just don't get accepted. Now, I do have a video with some of my best tips for how you can help your chances of getting accepted, but even if you follow all of those to a T, it doesn't guarantee that you are going to get accepted, or it's not going to take you a number of different times applying to be able to participate in that program. But if you do find that you get accepted, it can be super profitable and one of the lowest barriers for actually getting tons of items up and making lots of sales. Now, on the other hand, the other more passive platforms to sell on, like Redbubble, TeePublic, or Zazzle, because they don't have an application process and you don't have to front any money, they are a lot more competitive. There is a low barrier of entry for tons of people to get started on them. And so the platforms are really flooded with a ton of sellers, with some being better than others. So if you really are just trying to kind of dip your toes into the print-on-demand thing, you definitely can try one of those sites, but you just might not be able to build as profitable of a business as if you were selling somewhere else. Now, my other top choice is going to be selling on a platform like Etsy. However, this is definitely going to involve a bit more work, but in return, this can be much more profitable than a place like Redbubble. So if you are selling on Etsy, Etsy doesn't have the capability in and of itself to actually make these items for you. It's basically just operating as a marketplace. So you are going to in turn need to partner with a manufacturing company that is going to actually produce these items for you. So you are kind of acting as the middleman that is going to get these items from somewhere else and then list them on Etsy so someone can purchase them. So you're still not doing the work of printing, packing, shipping, storing your items, but you are going to be doing the work of actually purchasing the item up front. So your manufacturing partner has prices for all of their items. So for example, if you wanted to sell a t-shirt on Etsy, you might have to pay around $10 to your manufacturing partner to actually purchase the item. But then you can turn around and sell the item for $20 or more on Etsy, and then you are going to pocket the difference every single time that that item sells. Now, there are tons of different manufacturing partners out there, and some are definitely better than others. You'll have to think about things like the pricing, the turnaround time, and the quality. So to make things easy, I'm just going to share with you the partner that I use. I love them. Their quality is amazing. Their pricing is amazing, and that is Printify. Now, the really nice thing about about Printify is that they actually have a ton of different manufacturers on their website. So that means that you can sell hundreds of different types of items. So if you want to just sell t-shirts, you can totally do that. But if you wanted to venture into other types of products like mugs, tote bags, tumblers, journals, and a lot of other different types of products, you could do that all with Printify. And they've made it really easy to seamlessly integrate your Etsy shop with your Printify store, so everything runs really organically. Now, I do have a full tutorial of exactly how to set up your Etsy shop and your Printify account so that they're linked together and you can receive orders through that. So I will link that video here for you to watch after this if you just want to see how you would actually go about that process. But if you are going to go the route of selling on Etsy, you definitely want to be making sure that you have a great production partner who is vetted and you know has really good quality and their items aren't going to be too expensive. All right, so once you have the platform that you want to sell on, and you're not just limited to one place, you could definitely sell on more than one platform. That's personally what I do and what I recommend a lot of sellers do. So once you figure out where you want to sell, the next step is you're going to need to figure out how you are going to research the niches and products that are going to be sold on your shop. Now, a lot of times new sellers, they tell me that, they have an idea of a shop, something that they personally like, and they just want to go ahead and make a shop with that. Now, sometimes that can work for people, but a lot of times I find that the shops that people want to make are just way too broad or too competitive. So say you're really into animals and cats, and so you wanted to have a print-on-demand shop that was completely dedicated to items about cats. I probably would advise against that just because that really broad cat niche is so competitive. So as a print-on-demand seller, you always need to find a way to figure out how you can sell something with a lot less competition. Now, the best way to do this is actually to use some kind of research tool. I know it's really tempting to just think that you can figure out all of the niches and trends that you want to sell on your own, but a lot of times you just end up wasting tons of time either scrolling the bestseller pages on Etsy or Amazon, or you waste time by making items that end up not selling at all because maybe they are just way too competitive. So I want to recommend a few different research tools that you could implement to actually find designs day after day. Now, the first one that I ever used is called Merch Informer. Now, this is based completely off of the sold data from print-on-demand items on Amazon. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you what items are selling daily, what items are ranked really low in the bestseller charts, what you want to be looking for, what items have recently started selling super well. That way you can figure out what niches might be a good place to target. Now, the other research tool that I use all the time is called Sales Samurai. Now, this is more geared towards Etsy sellers, and it's going to show you the information about products that could be good choices to sell on Etsy, and it will also give you some great SEO information. So depending on which platforms you have chosen to sell on, you might want to think about which research platform would fit better, but I think personally that both of those different research platforms can really be used interchangeably through a bunch of different sites. So typically, if something is selling really well on Amazon, if a niche is doing well there, it's pretty safe to assume that a similar niche is going to also sell well on Etsy and vice versa. Now, I also do have a really great free tool for you guys. I have found a ton of success in targeting the niches that are basically a cross between two really popular things. So sometimes a popular thing, so let's say for example, the holiday of Christmas. If you just made a Christmas generic design, that is going to be way too hard to compete in. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of designs on Etsy being sold that are just generic Christmas designs. But the way that I found to really get into those competitive niches and make a ton of profit is by crossing that with something else that is also popular. So instead of just making a generic Christmas design, you could make a Christmas beagle owner design, or a Christmas dentist design, or a Christmas granny design. So anytime we can sub-niche and get a little more specific with the audience we're targeting, there is a greater opportunity for us actually to make sales. Now, I have something really cool for you guys. I've actually created a full workshop for you that you can go through this entire cross-niching process. I show you how to use my free cross-niching guidebook. You're also going to get that if you sign sign up for that free class. And I'm going to show you how you would take that from concept all the way to design. So if you want to join that, just go ahead and click the link below to register. And I'll be sending you an email with all the information to watch the workshop shortly. Now, the next step in this process, once you figure out how you are actually going to find the niches that you're going to target, is you need to decide what products you are going to sell. Now, there is not one type of product that is always going to do better than others across the board. And depending on what platform you're selling on, they're going to have more limitations based on what you can sell. So if you are able to get an Amazon merch account, if you're selling on Amazon, you are only going to have a small catalog of products that you can sell from. And typically on Amazon, I find that people get the most traction selling t-shirts. So if you are a beginner on Amazon, I probably would recommend that you really stick with those apparel items and try to make your first sales that way before expanding into a lot of other products. Now, on the other hand, if you are selling on Etsy integrated with Printify, really the sky is the limit with the kinds of products that you can sell. So they definitely have your classic apparel items like hoodies, t-shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of stuff. And so that can be a great choice for new sellers. But another strategy tons of new sellers have used to actually break into competitive niches and really get their stores going and profitable really quick is to pick more of an unusual product type. So say you see that a niche is selling really well on one of your research tools. What you could do if you're integrated with Printify on Etsy is you could take that idea from a t-shirt and then you could go ahead and put it on some tumblers or a blanket, maybe on a product that there's just way less competition on. But one thing that I do want to caution against is getting too overwhelmed with selling tons of different product types. This is a huge mistake that I see tons of new sellers making, is they spread themselves really thin trying to upload all sorts of different products to their shop. My best recommendation for new sellers is really just stick with 2 or 3 product types and try to focus tons of your energy on getting lots of products uploaded in those types. So some really good ones to start with are things like t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs. Those all make really good beginner-friendly products, but you also could pick a couple other more obscure products too if that's going to work for your shop type. Now, definitely another thing you want to think about if you are purchasing items on Printify is if you want a Printify premium account or just their free one. Now, both of these can be really good options, and it's super nice that you can get started on Printify with selling their items just with a free account, but you're going to end up paying a little bit more for the wholesale cost of the item. Now, if you get Printify Premium, you're going to get up to 20% discount on all of their wholesale items, which is great because that means you're just making more profit on every single sale. And the math typically works out to if you plan on making more than 15 sales every single month, usually it's worthwhile to get a premium account. But if you're not sure about how this all works and want to just go ahead and get started, make sure you sign up for a free account down below too. Now, once you know what products you are actually making is my personal favorite step in this whole process, and that is actually making your designs. Now, when we think about being a print-on-demand seller, often this is the step that a lot of people are jumping to, and this is what they think it's all about. But there really is so much to think about before we even get to this point in the process. So there are so many different design suites and tools out there, and it can get really overwhelming to figure out what one is the best for a print-on-demand seller. Now, the ones that I use, I like because they are personally tailored to being a print-on-demand seller. While I think Canva is a really great resource, and I do use Canva for some things, I've been opting to use Kittl a lot more as my design suite because it's made specifically for print-on-demand sellers. So the first thing that means is anything that you create on their platform is going to be free and safe to sell on any print-on-demand site. You have full commercial usage over the designs and graphics that you make using their suite. Now, the other really cool thing that I like, that since this is tailored towards print-on-demand sellers, is they have thousands of different templates, especially for t-shirts, to really just drag and drop a few different elements, maybe change some text, and you have a fully professional looking design that you can use and upload. Now, if you're a beginner, sometimes your design skills might not be really practiced yet. So it's super helpful to have a tool that has a lot of templates that can kind of be like training wheels as you're figuring out what makes a good design. But even years into this process, I still find myself using templates all the time just because it's really quick to make a great design with something like that. They also have some awesome AI image generators too, so that is just another perk of using a place like Kittl. Now, another suite that I also like is Placeit. You can make designs on that platform as well, and they also have a number of different templates. But on Placeit, in addition to getting the design suite, you also get access to their full catalog of mockups too. So that's just an added thing to think about when you're deciding which suite might be best for you. Now, really, the design suite that you choose isn't going to matter as much as just making sure that you understand how to use it, and it's easy enough that you're going to be able to make new products every single day without getting overwhelmed. So definitely think about what fits into your business best, and don't feel like you have to have every tool out there. Just pick what works for you and what you're going to stick with using. Now, another couple tools that I did want to mention can be great additions to these design suites if you choose to go this direction. So one of them is going to be Creative Fabrica, and this just gives you access to hundreds of thousands of fonts to use on your print-on-demand items, as well as millions of different downloadable graphics and designs that you can also use. And this is definitely one of the lower cost subscriptions out there. I think it comes in around like $5 a month. So this is a great way to get additional print-on-demand assets. Now, the other kind of design tool that I definitely wanted to mention is if you think that you are going to be selling personalized items, which can be a really profitable market, especially on a place like Etsy, I want to mention Hello Custom, which is a tool that automates the full personalization process. Now, a lot of times it seems like so much more work to start selling personalized items on Etsy, so that's why a lot of people stay away from it. But with Hello Custom, you are going to be able to set up what parts of your design you want to be customized, and so whenever you get an order from Etsy, it's going to automatically make that new artwork for you so that you don't have to be thinking about creating new designs every single time an order comes in. That whole process is automated for you. So I'll also link all their information down below, and you can get a free trial with them if you do want to just try it out and see how it could work for your business if you are selling personalized items. Now, once you have all of those decisions made and you've figured out what platforms you're going to use, what research tools and design tools you're going to use, you are really on your way to actually growing a really successful, thriving print-on-demand business. You've laid all the foundation in the groundwork. Now it just takes you consistently uploading great niches with good designs every single day. Now, if you want my complete roadmap for how I would grow my print-on-demand shop all the way to 6 figures in 2024, I would definitely recommend watching this video next. That's going to lay out that full process for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.